So, guys, what are the Fever doing with Jaelyn Brown? And I mean that. Like, what are they actually doing with her? Because if you guys have not seen the roster right now, Bree Turner is now on the Fever roster. This team is over the salary cap. They are. Like, they're over the salary cap. At this point in time, this team is currently over the salary cap. And with that being said, like, they've got to cut somebody. And they went, and obviously we know it's going to be Jaelyn Brown because the only players on unprotected contracts are Bree Turner, Jaelyn Brown, Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and DeWanna Bonner. And they're not cutting Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, or DeWanna Bonner, obviously. Everybody else on a protected contract. Like, even if they trade Christy Wallace, like, they're going to have to trade Christy Wallace for nothing. For nothing. And that would give them Jaelyn Brown. And I'm putting this out there. Jaelyn Brown is not better than Christy Wallace. She's just not. Like, Jaelyn Brown, I get it. She had a couple of these. She had a great game preseason last year. Do we not forget Christy Wallace's last game? Christy Wallace in her last game scored 17 points. She had 17 points in her last game last season. And, like, look, we can't forget this. Christy Wallace last season, she should never have been a starter. Never. But, like, she had 10 points against Chicago in a game where had she, like, literally, she missed 2 wide open layups. And had she not missed those 2 wide open layups, she would have had it would have been 14. Like, she actually ran the floor well. She was good that game. She had a few decent games. She genuinely did, and then she just randomly started getting DMPs. Like, obviously, she went from starting to getting DMPs, which is a bit of a weird one. But, like, Christy Wallace is better than Jaelyn Brown. So they're not going to just get rid of Christy Wallace for nothing. But, like, why are they then selling Jaelyn Brown jerseys and posting messages from Jaelyn Brown to the fans? So, like, one of two things has to happen. Like, they're either they're trading Christy Wallace for nothing. If they're trading Christy Wallace for nothing, like, you can find someone on a minimum that's better than Jaelyn Brown. Like, with the way things are going, you can, no offense to Jaelyn Brown, you can find somebody that's doing better than Jaelyn Brown. Like, I do want to get her stats so far in Russia. Is she picking it up a little bit? But, like, on the year, she's averaging 7.2 points per game in a league that's worse than what Bree Turner's playing in and averaging way more. Like, she's playing in the Russian league. Anastasia Kosu is a literal, like, 19-year-old who's averaging double her amount of points and, like, doing better than her in that. But you've now got, like, her, who, by the way, like, these are, she just had 5 points in a game. She had 5 points on 8 shots in her last game. This is what she has done since Christmas. 5 points on 9 shots, 2 points on 7 shots, 4 on 5 shots, 0 on 6 shots, 4 on 5 shots, 0 on 3 shots, 5 and 8 shots. That is what she's been doing in Russia. Like, she's been, Jaelyn Brown, like, why are the Fever stringing fans along? She's not going to make the team. Like, I don't know what they're doing with her, and she physically can't. Like, I saw a tweet from that stupid Trendy Hoop Stars page, and it was literally like, what's going to stop this team? The salary cap! They can't even field this team. Like, I trust that Kelly Krause knows what she's doing. But, like, Bree Turner did not sign a minimum contract. She signed above a minimum contract. It is unprotected, so they can cut her. But they do need a big, athletic big. So unless they can find a better athletic big, or find a better one in the draft, they're not going to cut Bree Turner. They're almost certainly not going to cut Bree Turner. And then with that, they literally can't afford Jaelyn Brown. Like, let's just assume, because they signed Bree Turner. They signed Bree Turner. Not through training camp. They signed Bree Turner. She is on a training camp contract. So she's going to fight it out with the team and not make it, which is fine. Which is absolutely fine. Like, look, you a lot of the time in the WNBA, there's not a lot of spots, and maybe she'll get somewhere. Maybe she'll play in preseason, someone else will sign her. Cool. But what are the Fever doing? Selling her jersey, pushing her, and like a lot of people are like, oh, new Fever player Jaelyn Brown. Like, she's not going to make the team. She's just not. Like, I mean, this is awesome. But right now, I can order Jaelyn Brown, Rebel Red, but not in Leah Boster and Lexi Hull jersey. Oh, 1 second. You can't get them real, but if you go to the gate from DH, you can go to the gate from DH and you can get yourselves a Lexi Hull jersey. I got that before All-Star break. And yes, the chair behind me is quite messy. But yeah, like I don't know. I don't know what the Indiana Fever are doing. People are like, the jerseys are pretty much sold out already. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to buy this Jaelyn Brown jersey. What are they meant to do? Like, there are players killing it overseas that aren't being signed. And Jaelyn Brown is struggling so badly. Like, people are talking about Jaelyn Brown as she's this elite shooter. She is currently shooting through 17 games in Russia. If I've said Turkey, I mean Russia. 33% from 2 and 26% from 3. She's shooting way worse than Jewel Lloyd did last year. But yeah, that's pretty much it, lads. That's pretty much it. That's all I have to say. Like, I just don't know what. I genuinely don't know what is happening with Jaelyn Brown. I don't know what's happening with the Fever. But I just don't know why the Fever are pushing, like, selling Jaelyn Brown's jerseys, pushing Jaelyn Brown so much when, like, they can't. They can't, like, they're over the salary cap. They are, like, a good bit over the salary cap. They can't sign Jaelyn Brown. This team is 30 grand over the salary cap. So yeah, she's not gonna make the team. And I don't know why the Fever are continuously pushing her. Like, I actually, by the way, there's a chance she ends up being in the W next year, but it won't be for the Fever. It genuinely won't be for the Fever. But anyway, yeah, that is pretty much it, lads. It's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. The Bree Turner signing, unless they get rid of Christy Wallace, and then she's still not guaranteed because they have their second round pick. But like, for me, with the way their roster is constructed right now, there is no reason to get rid of Christy Wallace for a player worse than Christy Wallace when you have to give up an asset to get off Christy Wallace. For, again, a player worse than Christy Wallace plays the same position as Christy Wallace when you have to give up an asset to get off Christy Wallace. Like, for me, it makes no sense whatsoever. But anyway, yeah, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.